Hey everybody. Well, we made it back from Spiel. Gone 2 weeks. I got here today and was getting ready to paint, and I realized that I painted some stuff while I was in Germany, and I realized that I saw that Space Marine, the board game, was #1, and I will decide I might as well continue with more of that stuff, since that was the big deal there. I mean, that's exciting. I'm not even sure. Maybe it was finally released big wide or something. I thought that they I thought that they had done that earlier. Now maybe that was the beginning of September, something like that. But that was cool that they that it's getting some attention. It is a I thought it was a board game, but it's essentially, I guess, another, like, a sort of introductory game to 40K, like the introductory sets and stuff like that. So it's I mean, obviously it's kind of intriguing, one Marine versus a whole bunch of Termagants. But we'll go over that, and we'll go over, I mean, some of that stuff, and we'll go over, because I've painted a few Termagants already. I've got the Space Marine Lieutenant, oh my gosh, what's his name? I keep wanting to call him Victor. Lieutenant Titus, there we go. Can't remember. Anyway, so let's cut to the table, and let's see what we got here, if I can actually do it. I'm in so many windows. Get back from the trip, and our this computer was running, which is insane. So something must have triggered it. Maybe there was an update or something like that. No fun to have a computer running for the entire time you're gone. Well, maybe the entire time you're gone. Let's see here. So this is Titus. I got this far and maybe a little bit more. Oops, he's not in focus. Last time I painted, which was Tuesday before we left. He's looking pretty cool. I think I did a little bit more after the stream. And, you know, it's a cool mini. I mean, you know, it's doing the traditional leaping off a stone thing that is kind of dominant. I was watching a video the other day from a YouTuber that was going on about that as well. And I mean, I actually like the terrain when they do this kind of stuff. It's a tiny piece of it here. There's a little skull in there. But I love the, you know, Warhammer Underworlds. They do some really intense bases and stuff like that. It's really cool. You know, these are basically, they are single pose miniatures. You can obviously convert it if you wanted to and do some work to it, but I can't even imagine maybe changing the axes or something like that. It'd be a lot of work. I said I had painted some stuff while I was away. That's here's the Termagant here that I was working on too. I think this one's the most complete. The other two don't have any of that pink stuff peeking through. I'm not even really sure why they're doing that. I mean, you know, they're kind of like aliens, but anyway, the xenomorphs. Oh, what is this called? This gun. Oh my gosh. Their guns are cool though. Goodness gracious, I know the name of this. Somebody told me in the stream the last time I was working on these. But flesh borers, there we go. Right on that page, it must have been open. So the thing I had worked on while I was away, our friend Sebastian and Annie, you know, they had a paint day scheduled with their community, which by the way is fantastic in Bonn, Germany. And so I wanted to do some of these Hearthkyn Warriors, which are from the leagues of Votan, you know, which are basically the what do they call them? Squats, you know, so they're basically the space dwarves. So, you know, their figures are pretty tiny when you compare them to, well, small compared to well, these are Primaris Marines. Primaris Marines are gigantic, so I'm not really sure about scale here. I was intrigued by these units. I feel they're kind of like a mix between Space Marines and Tau. But I really wanted to do orange. I had seen an image of salvagers or something like that used some orange, and it was pretty great, but super bright. And the hilarious thing is the color I wanted to use was this one, Magma Droth Flame. Now that's pretty darned orange. So if I used that, it would come out pretty strong. But nobody had it, and it was day 3 or 4 of us being in Bonn, but you know, Sundays things are closed. That was the day of the paint day. And I was not really in the mood to go shopping all the time. We did go into town once and asked, we looked at something. I think I was looking for what to paint, and I said that I was thinking of doing that, and Sebastian's like, I have a set for you if you want to paint them. So I did that, but as I was saying, I didn't have that orange. So one of the other painters, I do not know her name, I think I looked at it, but I can't recall. There was quite a few people. They had a really cool community of different kinds of folks. And she had this paint. I think she had the original version of this paint, Fire Giant Orange. And so I painted a couple minis. I didn't want to, like, she was working on a dragon, so probably had some cool stuff with this on it. So I didn't want to take control of it and keep it as my own. So I used it, though, as the base orange. Let's see if we can show you some of the... Well, this is kind of painted that way. It is. I might have had another color underneath it because I actually tried painting a standard orange on it and it was okay, but I'm going for the whole Zenithal thing. One of these had that orange. Could have been this one, I don't know. But I really like this orange. It is a really cool orange. It's very dark in the bottle. And so we at Spiel were trying, so you know, nobody had any. We called the local store because I'd already used this. If I just used the GW Citadel Magma Droth Orange or Flame, I probably would have been fine. But this turned out cool. I like this orange. It's really interesting. So we were trying to get a bottle of it at Spiel, and there was one booth that had stuff, but they were basically, I think, a distributor, and so they had a rack with 10 of everything in the rack, and they would not sell. I didn't even see this booth. This is Sebastian. They would not sell it to him. They wanted to stay full, but they did have, because he was so interested in getting it, they did have a red, and they the guy was like, he goes, he had extra of these reds. It was kind of an orangey red, and so he passed that along. He said, here, why don't you take this? And he goes, you need a synthetic brush? And Sebastian's like, I use sable brushes, but I have some synthetic brushes. He's like, are you sure you have a synthetic brush? And then he's like, I think so. And the guy's, are you sure? And he's like, okay, I don't have any synthetic brushes. So he gave him another brush. And so I used that stuff to finish the bulk of these Hearthkyn Warriors while we were there on our last day. So I got a lot done, but I didn't get everything done because I also used a new color I don't have. These guns here are using a Vallejo. Now I've tried them all now. So I had not tried any of the speed paints or the what do they call them, express paints for Vallejo. And this was like spaceship gray. I think these guns, now you notice I didn't paint one. So I'm kind of disappointed because I now either want to mix it, because I would have used my favorite gray, which is Basilicanum gray, but he didn't have it, and you know, I'm not forcing anybody to buy anything, although he did buy this bottle of orange, so I have a couple more guns. I've got this one here that it doesn't necessarily need that, but you can see they're all in various states of, you know, completion. This guy has these really, really fine connection points, and it broke, like very easily broke off. So as you can see, also the paint kind of chipped off. I'm not sure about I know that the contrast paints and speed paints are a little delicate. This really is a chip. Now, I tried to pack them. I'm amazed that this didn't break again. But like, he's got like robot legs or assisted legs, you know, bionic. But it looks like he's got regular feet here, and with these tiny connection points. So this seems to me like these are not real feet. I mean, they're not, you know, dwarf feet or what are they called? Votan. But then look at this figure. Like this figure's feet here, which I decided to paint orange. These are clearly like robot feet. Why the heck weren't these feet on this guy? So I'm confused. It's not really a big deal, but it is weird and kind of odd. But I do love the colors. They didn't even have the blue. He didn't have the blue I wanted. He had Aethermatic blue, which I love. Hey, Votan Combat Patrol. I want to try that. It's like expensive though. You broke a piece. Oh well, TJ, I'm sorry. It's not real terrible. Like I super glued this guy, and it was fine, but it was really delicate. I'm shocked at how delicate it was. Hey, I don't see this, but thanks for the follow. Electric Camel, or I don't know. Why am I not seeing that? Got the notification. Let me check something here while I'm doing all this silly stuff. That's weird. I can go here. 1 minute. Okay, K Dale K Pool. Let me just run that again just to see if it works. I'm glad I can hear it though. That's a treat. It's so much stuff is not. Let's go one more time. Come on. Click away. Nope, I don't get to see it. So I'll look at the stuff as it comes up on the Stream Elements. It worked earlier, I'll tell you that, but I did reboot things and cameras and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for the follow. But yeah, I really like these units. I really almost bought a vehicle, like their biggest tank or whatever. I don't remember the name of it. It was really inexpensive in Germany, and this was the list price. And I kind of got frustrated. I mean, you know, GW gave me this Space Marine box to right here, to show you all. And we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna do this on a. I mean, I'm gonna paint them, and we may talk about it. But I think I talked with their community, one of their community folks, at Essen Spiel, and wow, that's turning the camera. He was saying that the introductory box, which they gave me a copy of, is the way to go. It's the better step into the thing, and then the next level you can have your combat patrols, where, you know, the neat thing about combat patrols is you don't have to select units, you don't have to determine points, it's all for you. This is the new introductory set that gives you paint and tools and stuff like that. It's fantastic. It's a great way to start and get yourself going if you're interested. So I think Nick Murphy and I are gonna do something for that on a game night. We're pretty excited about the possibility with that. I'm an old hand. Oh, Electric Camel, I know you're an old hand. Oh, I didn't get that changed. Let me see if I can change that. Gosh, I've got all kinds of things to do. Let me change the game that we've got going on here. Pretty silly, it's so much stuff. But yeah, so people we stayed with in Germany ended up getting COVID, one of the folks, and part of the stay, and so we've been kind of stressing. I don't want it. I will be honest about that, but our parents, you know, are both. My mom's going to be traveling here. Going to travel with her sister on Saturday, and we do not want her to get sick, and we don't. Nikki's going to go visit her mother tomorrow, and we do not want her getting sick. She's had some health issues. I'm just hoping we didn't get it again. I mean, we haven't gotten it yet. That's the crazy thing. And it's getting to be more and more folks that are getting it. And, you know, Scott was like, you're going to get it. And I know we are. I just don't want it to happen anytime soon. We've got more travel ahead of us for BGG Con. I think we were down to a few tickets if anybody's interested in going. It is a great event. But we leave for that at the beginning of next month. And I imagine if I did get it, we'll be better by then. But and my mom will be gone, so that'll be okay if something happens. But I don't want it. I mean, we met with a friend, and his wife met his wife at Essen, and she's like, "Yeah, you don't want it." Yeah, I get it that we don't want it, but here we go! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Game. Let's see how that works. Yeah, I should have done this earlier. It does show a quotation. Man, I do not know how to do this. Oh, I see. Game. Oh no, edit game. There we go. Wake up. Yeah, I really don't know how to do this. This is I've generally Derek takes care of this stuff for us. And then I think I'm just going to put the game name in here. Goodness gracious. Okay. But yeah, it's like I lots of little bits of stuff to learn. I got this all set up better before I left, which is really important to be able to run these streams a little bit smoother. And as you can see here, it's not working that great. Yeah, we also film on Saturday, and I really don't want to be sick for that. A couple of really important games that we want to do, and we got Dave and Deborah coming over. So let's hope. Nikki's been feeling fine. I was really worn out, so that was probably what was going on. Okay, there's Iron Spy. Let me see here. Did that work? Yay! Wow, I've got. Wow, how did that get Siri in here? Hey, here we go. I'm gonna dance here off screen. Okay, what do we got here? Once again, I can't see what it is. I love this. Let's go to surfing now. Hey, Iron Spy, thanks so much. I don't know exactly what he did there. I wish it would show up on the screen. I don't get it. Oh, you know what? I bet you something has gotten shut off. Boy, there's so much stuff here. Anyway, I'll do that and see if it changes for it. I believe that is it. Who knows? It's all crazy today. Anyway, so I did get some Votan done. I had a great time. I really would love a community like that. I mean, maybe we can build something here in Los Angeles. I know there's Warhammer players and stuff like that. But it would be fun. I mean, we had a great time. They also had a great location set up that was pretty awesome. So, so I'll get back to these in a little bit. Let's get back to the Space Marine board game. But these are cool, and they're really fun, and I had a good time. I really end up liking the color combination a lot. Which one is this? Guy's the guy I got done the most, but I didn't have. You know, they don't. Sebastian has made the commitment to a different paint line. He will probably still buy some of the GWs that he loves, but I'm kind of in this. I have a lot of the contrast paints, not all of them. I think I'm shy about 10 of them, of all the color line they have, and I would love to. Oh, that was another thing. So Sebastian gave me these units. And he wanted they had these like specific helmets that to me look like Donald Duck or something when the shield is down, but he wanted to use them for divers. So he's like, don't use the heads. And I'm like, I won't use those heads at all. And so I did use one that was open, and he had one more that was open. But I do think they're cool. I think these are nice, really nicely sculpted minis. I like this guy's dome helmet. Turned out kind of cool. But yeah, I got a lot to do. I've taken on, I'm helping a friend paint some stuff. And so I've taken on a bunch of minis with that. Now I'm painting the same, I've got the same thing going on with Scott. But I'm painting minis that I have been painting. So I'm gonna catch up on those, and then I'm gonna paint 2 of everything, which will be fun. I mean, I enjoy doing that stuff. There we go. 42 months, there we go, awesome. I also thought you had, I thought you were just saying 42, which is an awesome number, as we know. But yeah, there's the Termagants. These are cool looking. I used colors like what they give you in the set. They give you this Wraithbone, and I mean, these are sort of the colors. And then Nagaroth Knight, which is a base color. I used the GW equivalent in the contrast paints, and so it looks a little different. I had painted many of these things black and then went through and like gave some weathering and scratches to like their talons and stuff like that. And so they're pretty neat. Goodness gracious, this phone keeps falling over here. Something is not level. But yeah, the space is pretty great, but not perfect, because I'm gonna have Nick over to paint some of this stuff with me. Wow, that paint leaked. What is going on here? This is the second time this has happened, and I'm not even sure why. Oh, you know what? Maybe it got bumped. It happened on another stream where the red leaked, and I'm like, what did I do? But I just picked this up off of there, and there's, oh, you know what? I think the lid closed and the paint dripped off the lid. Boy, I got to tell you, that is the one thing I do not love about these Citadel pots, is the leaking. What a bummer. This is a mess. It's not that bad, but it's pretty gross. And they're, you know, it's sticky paint, especially since it's been sitting obviously for a few minutes. I think I touched up one little dot of paint on that marine before I started, and now I regret it. I do like working specifically with the speed paints from the pots, because you know I generally, well, 50% of the time I paint directly from the pot. Sometimes if I'm doing flesh tones, I will thin that with the contrast medium. I do wish they had larger bottles of contrast medium. It's the one. I mean, they are larger, but I mean a lot larger. It's sort of the one that I mean, obviously, it's the one you go through the most. You're using it all the time. So, let's look at this Space Marine. It's interesting. This chainsaw, I guess, is what it is. Let's see what it says on here. It's not a chainsaw. It's painted black in the book. Chainsword, there we go. That's the right name. It's black with like silverish teeth. So we're gonna try to do that. Got the Votan. Votan Combat Patrol looks cool. They don't have that big vehicle. Oh, I was saying costs. So they had Warhammer Underworlds war bands, which I was buying all of them for a while. And then when they reached $43, $41, I'm like, I can't do it. I mean, I told the guy, I'm like, I get it, things get more expensive, but goodness gracious, it doesn't. Now, you know, they're shipping it to the United States. It's manufactured, most of this stuff is manufactured in the UK. So it's understandable. Things cost more, petroleum to get it here, petroleum to make it. But it's 31 euros for the same box in Germany. And that tank was, the Votan tank was under 100 euros, and it's over 100 euros in the US. And I just was like, man, this is the frustration. That's why I really loved Warhammer Underworlds as a way to get people into the hobby without spending too much. And I will say it is still sort of that way, but $41 for 3 to 5 minis when you can get a combat patrol for like 160 US, which is probably cheaper in Europe as well, is a little steep. You know, I don't know. I completely voiced my opinions with them because I was excited to, hey, that worked. Fell Hunter Games is now following. Thank you so much. I get it, you know, I get the costs and all that stuff, but it's not, you know, part of the reason why I was meeting with them was to discuss helping them reach out to the board game market, like how to do that. And I'm like, well, you know, you need some of this and you need some of that. And, you know, they're there to listen. I mean, they're not crazy. And I said to him, I go, you know, I get it. There's really no reason to, you almost don't need to continue. You have there's a very good engine to create, you know, make money with these, you know, constant updates and stuff like that, which is cool. I mean, that's exciting. That game does not, those games do not suffer for updates, which is cool. It is a little, it does get a little bit repetitive, sort of. I mean, you know, the units that get the army that gets the most is the Space Marines, and then I would imagine in the fantasy realm, Age of Sigmar, it's the Stormcast Eternals. You know, those are the popular armies, but they are starting to look similar. The releases are not that drastically different. What was I watching? It was a pretty good YouTuber talking about the new releases and how similar they were, and it's true. You know, I mean, but their minis are great. You know, they really do nice stuff. But I hope that they will figure out something so that it's not. Oh, that's real black. So it's not so. The barrier of entry is not so high. I feel, you know, board games are $60, but the new kind of model is board games going to $20 to $30. Now, I can't see GW doing that, Citadel, and lots of publishers. But you'll notice that there are publishers targeting games in that price range, and these guys don't have anything like that. You still need to buy a base army. Now, I think the Warhammer Underworlds box that they put out that you can get like at Barnes & Noble is $50. That's not too bad. It gives you 2 armies. And I really love Warhammer Underworlds. I really love the small... hey, the water is glugging in. You know, this is... I have 2 warbands of orcs here. I don't have them all. Now, one of them is Scott's and one of them is mine. You know, the Stormcast Eternals, same way. 3 models, you know. I think there's 4 of these in the set. It's fantastic. It's a very small way to get started and not go crazy, right? You can see how much you enjoy it. You can buy a few paints to get started, you know. I was telling people not to buy, and I still believe don't buy sets of paints. Unless you're really certain you're into it and you just want to have all the colors. But I really feel you should just buy what you need to get started and see if you enjoy it, and then grow it as you go from there. Did I screw that up? I don't know if Scott, or maybe Scott checked it. Maybe I messed it up. Anyway, I see Scott's in there. But yeah, I'm intrigued by this being number 1. It's very cool. So I'm going to put, I really don't know whether I want to just do Basilicanum Gray. Basilicanum Gray is a pretty spectacular black, but it really is a gray, obviously. It ends up being my number 1 choice for things when I don't want them to be solid, like the black is black. I have all kinds of stuff. I we had to bring home a lot of games. We ended up having 3 suitcases, one of them which was a duffel bag. We generally have a duffel bag and a suitcase, but this time and last year we had 2 bags. This year we left with 2 hard shell bags. Last year we came with 1 hard shell bag and then returned with 2. So we used that one and came out. We had Sebastian is into, he does not know the show, but he's into Masters of the Universe, and I guess the European one was not great, and the game itself, but the minis are great. He wanted the game that Simon did, and so I backed it for him, and it was, you know, $400 something. And we brought it all to him, and it was a massive amount of stuff. It basically filled our suitcase. We thought we were gonna have 3 going, but we were able to use our clothing as padding and fit all that stuff in there. So that was cool. And so we ended up, you know, we were trying to not pick up more games on Sunday at Spiel, and we ended up having another pile of them. Wow, that's not so good. Another pile of them that we had to do the duffel bag. We fit everything in the suitcases, but weight-wise, we were like maxing out. And so we brought home the new Ticket to Ride Legacy with hopes of filming that one soon. We were hoping to do that before we left, but they were I guess they were unable to get us a copy before then. We met with Amigo. I'm not sure I can tell you about one thing. I'm going to ask because we want to show it to you, a new game that they're going to bring out in Germany and I believe the US from another publisher that we really loved. We had a great time playing it, and they were nice enough to give us 3 of the versions from the other publisher from another country, and we really like it. We played it on Monday night, and we're super happy. We wanted it really bad. We're like, this seems cool. So hopefully I can tell you about that soon, because I don't want to get anybody upset with us. It was really nice of them to give us a copy, since it is not their game. I mean, it is. They're doing it, but it's not. They're not. It hasn't been released yet. And then we did a lot of stuff. Saw a lot of stuff. We tried Sankora, the new Fabio Lopiano from. We don't usually play games at the con. Maybe very, very light stuff. This was one that Osprey reached out about. It's coming out in January. And I like Fabio Lopiano's games. We played quite a few of them. And so I wanted to check it out. And since he and the other designer were teaching it, I thought that would be really neat. And it was cool. And they were Fabio was very appreciative of the games we had featured on GameNight of his. We played about half the game, and I was really, really liking it, but we had another meeting. So that was fun and different. It's a deep game, and Ian O'Toole did the art, and it's just ridiculously gorgeous. Very cool. Sankor. I think I'm going to try. I mean, we don't generally go for the heavier. Nikki's like, do you want to do another heavier game on the show? I'm like, in January we could probably do it, because I'm not doing a very good job getting this shot here. I moved the camera actually so it's a little bit closer to me, so I don't have my placement 100% together yet. But yeah, by that time I think I can handle it. Let me get back to the image of this guy here. But yeah, they're hard. We had a couple games that were long, and then a couple games that just took us a while. You know, like we had some issues and contacted the designer, and amazingly got answers pretty quickly, and were able to continue. But you know, it's hard, and thankfully there's folks paying attention. On BGG and stuff like that. The problem was the game that we had a problem with. It was not. It's not widely available yet. I think we got a gnat in here. I did kind of have the door open earlier. I almost feel like I should just be painting the whole thing black here, which I will do, and I'm just going to put a lot more silver on it, but not a ton. Chain sword, boy, why did I forget that? I am not a Marine player. I have nothing against them. I own Black Templar, which I really love, the look of those Marines, but I've never played Marines other than in Space Hulk. I asked about that too. I said, I know you probably get lots of requests to do it, but Space Hulk, I would love for them to re-release that. It's been since 2014. I was talking with Adam Smasher about it at Gen Con, and then he did a video talking about it specifically. Like, you know, it's such a solid game, and you know, it's manageable, right? You only have like 5-6 Marines and a bunch of Tyranids. There's some cool poses and stuff too. Well, I don't know if I should have put that other layer of black on there. Did I bump that, or did I get black on that? I'm sorry, you can't see that. I will put some, it looks like I bumped it, I don't think, but maybe I got some paint on it. But I feel that their combat patrol sets are pretty cool. You know, I think the Marines are a little expensive for how many units you're getting, but you know, a lot of that's determined by the value of the combat value of the units. Doesn't matter how big the plastic is or whatever. And I get it, that's how that works. Tabard looks a little coffee-ish, but I'm going to go with it. Oops, you can't see it. I'm going to put some gold trim, which I have gold on the palette here. I'm using the bubble palette that Adam told me about, which is, you know, it's just a bubble pop thing, which is great. It really does do a good job for cleanup. It keeps the paint under control. And I really, really love it. I don't love it being a gray, but the white one I saw was like a baseball. And I'm not sure. It wasn't actually being sold by Amazon. I wanted something quicker than that. And thought about, you know, trying to get it just to have white. But it's also, I suppose white's pretty bright on camera, so this is, and ultimately it doesn't really affect the color. Hey, I just overdid it there. Let's see if I can clean that. Okay. One of the things you can do when you're doing something like this is you can varnish it between coatings. When I was doing Kingpin on the Marvel United ones, I actually varnished the pants to do the pinstriping on them before, and it was great because I could make a mistake and fix it pretty quickly, easily. And so it's a good way to help, you know, if you're nervous about something before. I guess I'm just making this band a little bigger. That's fine. I would say there's going to be gold on the back too. Why not? I don't see any pictures, but what do I know? I mean, Space Marine minis are great, but if I'm going to pick one, which I have already, besides the Black Templar, I will do the Adepta Sororitas, I guess. The Sisters of Battle, which is always probably my favorite of the Imperium armies, just because they're so neat looking. And the downer about that is, for me, is they always release, when they release something, it tends to be at the end of the run. And that's frustrating because you wait, then they finally put out a codex, and then it's new edition time. I don't remember. I mean, I bought the set in the 9th edition, I believe. Could have been 8th. I have no idea anymore because it's 10th now. I do not recall when I actually bought it, and they you know, immediately had a new version of the game come out, and that's fine and everything, but it's just a bummer. So let us try. Should I try dry brushing it, or should I just think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a brush that's a little wet, and let's see how wet this. It's pretty dry already. I put the now this is old paint. This is mithril silver, which you can't even get anymore. Now I'm sure they have a new version of it, something like it, but this was in the old bolt gun shell bottles. I salvaged it before it was too late and put it in a dropper bottle. And I love this. I loved these paints. I don't know if it was just me being new to the hobby or something, but they were like truly my favorite metallics. Since then, somebody has recommended, and I have a couple bottles of it. The stuff from Vallejo, their metal. What are they called? I have a bottle, at least 2 bottles here somewhere. Here's one of them. Of course, this is straight silver, metal color. It's probably pretty good. Now, they've been doing some reformulations. This is $10 a bottle. I think I bought this during the pandemic. There's a great store in Burbank that has a lot of paint lines. I actually want to go over there to see if they have some of this stuff. So I've got a lot of things. I mean, there was so much stuff at Spiel. So this year they've reorganized everything, and you had basically the miniature stuff in Hall 1, and you had the gamer games sort of in Hall 3, which is that's where all the big boys were, and some other stuff. It was mixed. Now they have all of the the big publishers were in Hall 6, family games. So, and there were some publishers that maybe shouldn't be in there just for getting the right audience. Now, I'm sure people went to the other halls, but there was definitely a focus. Like there was a group of publishers had a bag, 4, 6, it said Hall 6, to make sure everybody knew that it was Ravensburger, Cosmos, gosh, what else was it? Schmidt, I think. And there were a lot of publishers in there. But, for example, Studio H, I feel, doesn't necessarily belong in there. Now, it's really their own. They make the case with the people who run the event now. But it was okay. The only thing I didn't really care for was I felt we were not running into things like the surprises we would normally run into. Brian, you mentioned that there was a tennis game that used pucks. That I have it, and it was really cool. And I don't think we would have found that. Additionally, BGG wasn't doing the Geek Buzz, which I really love Geek Buzz because that's where you see people getting excited about games. I should mute that. They do have Fair Play. Fair Play's been doing it for ages. And I went to visit Fair Play's booth on Sunday and saw it, and for me the issue was Revive was the top game. And the reason for that is Revive is available in German, which is perfectly fine, right? It is a German event, German-oriented event. But, that was last year's big deal. Now, you could just go on list, but here was the weird thing. They basically had 2 lists. They had a list for the gamer halls, let's just say 3, because I don't remember what else. I think there was more than one hall on that. And then they had another list of 10 that was the rest of the halls. So they are covering, more types of games, which is cool, but it was such a drag. I still feel like I missed out on stuff because, number one, we had a lot of meetings in 3, and 5 and 6 a little bit. 6 was a few of the big publisher meetings too. That was what Nikki and I did. We had some friends comment that they didn't see us. I'm like, yeah, especially Sunday. Sunday was supposed to be, Saturday and Sunday, I was trying to make them light days, and they were not. And so we didn't get to see a lot of people. We did have lots of fans. Wow, this is crazy. Everything is sliding over here. We did have lots of fans come up to us, which was really cool. Probably more than ever, asking for selfies and stuff and telling us how much they love the show, which was awesome. People that were with us are like, man, every time. I'm like, well, you know, I think more people, especially during the pandemic, probably watched a lot of stuff. Although we had one guy come up to tell us he's been watching it since he was a teen. And he looked pretty older to me, you know. I was like, wow, okay, make us feel old. Really nice. We were eating lunch with Marta, who you see sometimes in the chat. She was there. So we chatted with him a while, and that was great. His name was Marco. We saw Anton, not Anton, Andre, who's Ruckus on the chat and stuff like that. He was great. I had some little minis to remind people about Ukraine. This was before the attack as we were leaving, which was sad. Nikki did not, she kind of missed it as we were, you know, there, which is terrible. I don't know what's going on. But we did have a good time. It was great to see people. We were really kind of petered out on Sunday, and just because it was a lot of walking. I don't know about these brushes. So these are the Army Painter ones. I saw Artist Opus there, and I meant to go by their booth, and I should have, because they have so much stuff, and I would have liked to get some of that there. They might have had show specials, which is always cool. We did not buy that much stuff. We did buy the final, well, not the final of the 4 Micro Macro Crime City. Showdown was the last one, plus there was a box for the you know, with 3 mega cases that are on all 4 maps, that you follow all 4 maps, and then 11 cases for the other 4. Hey Dylan, thanks for watching the chill streams. Yeah, I like doing them. I wish I'm trying to work my schedules a little bit better now, because Nikki and I have been wanting to get game night, date night going, and I've kind of been the problem because I have so much to do, and you know, just I'm kind of on a treadmill, like, you know, got to do this, and that's me, right? It's not. There is some issues, and I am dealing with some things that are making it a little challenging, but I'm trying to get it so that I'm not doing everything kind of at the last minute. We had to prepare to leave, so I had tons of videos to get prepared, and so like this week's episode was already done, so I didn't have to stress over it when we got home. Because I usually, I mean, you know, when I'm coming home on a Tuesday, I'm like, I got all this time. Well, I got to tell you, thankfully we didn't. Thankfully I did that because we were tired, way more tired than I thought I would be. Because I actually slept on the plane a lot. A good half the flight, I was asleep. I lately, I mean, I'm asleep before the wheels are off the ground. But it wasn't enough because, you know, I think we got 3-4 hours of sleep that night that we left, because, you know, you can never, it's hard. You're always like worried about not waking up, and although we had plenty of alarms. Nikki had an alarm, I had an alarm, so we would have been fine, most likely, and we did. We had no problems. We flew out of Dusseldorf. It was very simple. But yeah, it's always a little worrisome. Okay, so I feel that I painted these with this Wraithbone, and these are with white. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to use the Skeleton Horde, which is kind of like my favorite kind of parchment kind of color, even though it's, you know, other things. So what I'm going to do though is I will use the color not straight out of the pot, but in a pot, one of the little, you can see how this it doesn't stick anywhere. I mean, this stuff is this thing is great when you pop the paint out. Usually, the paint is already has already pulled away from the pop button there. Wow, I don't think that this lid was on there very good. So this is the last of this bottle of contrast medium, and I think I left it open, I think a week or something one time. It was not really open, but it really kind of is open. I get annoyed by the way these lids are. I looked up one up here that was on the rack and it was slightly open, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm so conscious about that. I can't believe I fouled it up. Anyway, so let's see what we get here. This will probably be fine. I don't think you can see it. Now again, this is directly on already, I think, Wraithbone painted color. I kind of feel, I don't know what this is here. There's some word painted on it here. You know, unit or some religious exaltation. What do they say here? They got Ultra, I guess is what it says on there, is what my guess is on the box cover. I don't know if I can try freehanding that. I'm not the greatest freehand artist in the world. I'm just getting good at doing a reasonable job on edge highlighting, so reasonable, not great. So yeah, I like doing this stuff. Let's see here. Now I did this with, where is it at? Is it over here? It's up here. I did the scrolls, or the purity seals on here with, I think, like a bone and then brown squiggles. So they look pretty good. So I'm going to try to do something like that. I'm trying to do all this stuff a little bit quicker than those took me a long time. Sorry, it's out of focus. To do, not a long time, but more time than I would do now. I want to get things on table ready sooner rather than later. You know, I mean, you know, it's awesome. I love doing this stuff. The hobby is awesome, but boy, you really have to, if you're a crazy purchaser like me, you have to work hard to keep up, and I am not keeping up. I am so far behind. One of the other things I'd like to try to do is paint a little bit on the weekends, maybe. You know, I actually we have filming this weekend, which is great. I'm very excited to be doing it, but you know, that'll be all of my Saturday. Let's get some flesh tone on here. I don't know why I didn't do it before. Gilliman Flesh is my favorite humanoid flesh tone because it does just about every shade of humanoid out there. Gilliman Flesh. I did not like it when I first got it. I didn't understand. I guess I understood contrast paints, but for whatever reason, it didn't occur to me. I was mostly doing stuff out of the pot. And this is too dark. Now, it's not too dark for every skin color. I did some fantastic stuff in the Marvel United. Fantastic stuff. I mean, I absolutely love Okoye. I don't have her out over here. And Okoye and Shuri, they look amazing. Super happy. And I think, you know, I've shown the kind of range of skin tones that I've done so far with that color, and it is amazing. It's really, hey, look at this, bottle not closed. I don't like these lids, man. They're terrible. I push it. Man, they're not great. I hate saying that, but they really aren't. Some of these paints GW gave me. They gave me, last year they gave me all of the new contrast paints. And I am appreciative because I do love their paints. I just don't love their bottles. And I don't want to go to convert everything to the dropper bottles. I mean, I have a bag full of dropper bottles here, but I'm not happy with these dropper bottles. They're okay. And I also don't like transferring it. It's not that great. Boy, I tell you, this, maybe I'm just used to not seeing it in this pot. This does not look right. Let's see if we can get this closed this time. If you ever get any paint in the lid, it gets very difficult to close. Now, the Killing Flesh shouldn't be, I mean, you can see there's paint in here, but it's not that bad. And occasionally I will clean out the bottle, but I gotta tell you, do that, enter at your own risk on that sucker, because you could really foul up. You could spill it. It's so easy to spill these contrast paints. Sebastian at Spiel purchased a whole rack system, you know, to store your paints. He's converting to Vallejo. They have a new formulation, Vallejo does. I really wanted it. I did try their, as I say, their contrast paint. Or not contrast paint, express paints. And that was cool. Is that a stitch on his head? What's going on there? Got some sort of like bolts on his head. So we'll figure that out after I color some more. But it was a nice set. He built it while he was, because he didn't go every day. They have a young daughter and they're taking care of her, and so Annie didn't go at all, which is totally understandable. So yeah, he assembled it on Saturday, and then when I saw it completed, I'm like, wow, that's fantastic. It's big, much bigger than mine. You know, it's a full-on system. Wow, he looks cool. I'm not sure I'm going to do those eyes. He kind of looks like Anderson Cooper, though, here with the white hair, so need to figure that out. Let's see. It's funny, I mixed a bunch of color. That was done fast. Maybe I should paint some of these Votan. I did one guy dark-skinned. This old guy, he probably's grizzled. He probably should have dark skin too, but now you can keep building it up. I mean, I generally do when I do flesh tone. I'm too nervous to have it just always be so dark. He does have the walrus mustache of what's that guy's name? Wilfred Brimley, the diabetes guy. I mean, I believe he passed a long time ago. Sounds like the music's kind of loud, but I'm liking it in my ears. So you can see here I messed up, didn't paint the orange. Missed some of the blue. I need to put some snakebite leather on there, maybe touch up some of that white so it... That's one of the things I think is pretty cool. You know, I'm not looking for contest level painting, right? I mean, I try to do a nice job. But these paints allow you to generally cover it. I mean, this is going to be a brown, so it'll probably be fine, but I just wanted it to not be too much brighter than the rest of it, or darker than the rest of it. So I just paint a little bit of white over it, or gray usually. I don't know where that, is that here? No, that's the Wraithbone. But I will say, I think that this con, I don't know what the numbers are, but it sure felt as big as any of the previous ones. Probably wasn't, but it was definitely crowded at Spiel. We were definitely kind of freaking out a little bit with just the amount of people to crush. Now, it wasn't, the Galleria, which is the connection point between halls 4, 5, 6, and 3 and 1, and 3 and 2, 1 is on the inside of, on the other side of 2. I feel like this guy's getting bent, the base is getting bent on the, I left it on the handle while I was gone, which I don't recommend doing. I've had some pop off. This actually looks okay, except this is not really down. Did I not glue it? Maybe I didn't. I don't feel I did. Which is silly, but you know, I also might be considering like the base. You know, I sometimes don't do the stuff because I sort of do them semi-part. Now I'm going to break his foot off. Hooray! So let's just stop with that. Interesting. Now I wonder if I glued that on there. I don't feel I did. So that is breaking off of there. Who knows? So I'll probably have to put a little bit of glue under there. It is weird. I will say I have now had, like, so I obviously sort of glued this down. Let me find the glue. I really like the tiny little brush on this Tamiya paint. This is the extra thin. Because you can really squish it into places. So I will glue a little bit underneath here. Ooh, it stinks though. Okay, so let's glue this from underneath. I think there's Revell has another great glue that they offer, but I don't think it's easy to get in the United States. That's got a needle applicator that's really cool. And I used it last year, and I was trying to buy it when I got home, and I could not get it. So I think I bought this Tamiya Ultra Thin, which I really love, but I got to tell you, that little needle is pretty fantastic for applying glue. Now I think I messed this up. I think this is like a scroll inside here. Looks like a abacus or something to me, but so I need to actually maybe change that to a different color. Now I could use the Wraithbone. So, you know, I'm trying to do a lot of stuff with just the contrast paints, but it's kind of hard to do everything with them. I did use like gold, which is not, there is some, I think speed paints have some metallics that I would be eager to try, and I probably will at some point. But, you know, I really do love the GW metallics. Well, the ones that I've tried. I was a little frustrated with them for a while, and the guy at the local Warhammer store, which is closed, was like, I'm telling you, the Retributor armor is great, and it really is pretty great. I also love the gold from Monument. It's called Rich Gold. I feel it's very similar to this one. Some people say that and you know, I don't know that much about paints. I've never really been that experimental. I do have some older style paints, but you know, I feel new paints are different. Anyway, people are saying that the Monument Hobby stuff is Pro Acryl is too thin. Maybe if you're, I don't know. To me, they're kind of thick. But I love their white. It's not my favorite of all time colors, but it's a good one. Because whites suck. I do not like using white paints. They generally don't do a good job covering. I do have in my palette here a little bit of the white primer from Stynylrez. I think it does a pretty good job covering of some things, and I was trying to do these seals, although I'm not sure I did a great job of lightening it up. So let's see if it's still wet, because I did this in a little bit as I was setting up. Nikki came in and startled me because she was just trying to say hi, and I couldn't hear anything. Had the earphones in, and I was, you know, listening to the music on the stream already to see that it was good. And but yeah, it does a pretty good job of coverage. And I mean, the other one does too. The Monument Pro Acryl white. It's very good. The issue for me is that I feel like I have to thin it to apply it. So I'm hoping to put a burgundy color on here. We did hear some neat things coming from GW. You know, they really can't tell you, but gave us a hint, so I'm happy to hear about some of that stuff. I really do hope they do a good game. You know, they kind of need it. They need a strong release to draw people in. I feel they have, so we didn't actually see the sprues, but you know, so they already have these push fit minis where you don't even have to glue them. This is a push fit mini. They have contrast paints, which are very easy to use. You know, it's you can literally just paint the miniature white and then put contrast paint on it. It looks great. Or you can do like I do, which is the zenithal highlighting. They introduced new sprues. Wait, I think it's a package. Let me tell Nikki. Oh, she probably heard it. They have these new sprues. I'm hoping they're coming to everything. This was some sort of a community kit that they do, which is an interesting idea. They, one of the folks last year told me about it, where you know it's like an after-school program or stuff like that, and gets kids, you know, playing together and competition and stuff like that, which is cool. Thanks for the follow, Outright Cole Q. I'm here painting a little bit of mix of stuff. I'm painting the Space Marine, the board game stuff that I have, and I'm painting some Hearthkyn Warriors, which are the Leagues of Votan. So I was saying they have these new sprues that you don't even need to clip them off. You just push, there's like an arrow on the sprue. For example, I'll show you here. I don't have one of them, but like it would point on like this little piece here. Hey, push here. And you push and it pops off the sprue. And it leaves a very, very fine connection point. They also had like longer posts coming out of the feet of the minis so that the connection point was where you wouldn't see it. Obviously, the one issue you might have is mold lines between the edges, which you do need to use a knife. I was just saying, you know, I have their sprue cleaner, you know, the mold line cleaner. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. And it's a great tool because it's not really sharp. Does a good job of peeling off. Now I'm a X-Acto knife user, so I'm not too afraid to do it. But these things are cool. I mean, I'm a weirdo. I buy all these things like, oh, interesting. Now this was not cheap, and the new one is even more expensive, but it works pretty good. And the new one actually has a finer point, which is probably better than this one. You know, it's not easy to poke yourself and stuff on this. You still could probably hurt yourself if you're not thinking, you're not clear. But using X-Acto is much pointier. Now I generally keep a duller blade. This is not one of, it's sort of dull, but to clean mold lines. You know, I tend to work away from myself, you know, but you sometimes have to pull towards yourself. This is an X-Acto knife that does not have a good lid, and I 3D printed this. Somebody had made one specifically for this knife, and I've got to tell you, it's the best thing ever because it is so, I've gotten stabbed so many times painting, you know, working on stuff, and just had a fresh blade go right into my skin, and I do not want to do that again. Anyway, so I painted those white again, which means they're going to have to dry before I put the color on them. I had to do the bone. I didn't do that yet on his skull. This little, although who knows, it could be, why not just leave it alone? It could be a little bit of battle damage. I will be doing some edge highlighting and stuff like that on this. I'm talking a lot and my voice has been, it was just too much talking through a mask for us. And so it's been hard. I've not gotten, I mean, we've tested every day and we've been doing fine. but I do not want to get it right now. I mean, I never want to get it, as I said, but I really don't want to give it to my mom. She would be really upset with me. But you know, what are we going to do? We're going to get it eventually. One of these, I was joking, looked like Elvis Presley. I think it was this guy. Kind of like Elvis, I don't know. I should make him a little darker. I tend to paint the faces first. I sort of work inside out. And I kind of did. I did the inside of the lining, and Sebastian and I were talking about it. He's like, you should do it orange as well. I'm like, okay. You know, I don't know. But I feel if you do it, you less likely, you know, if you got a color down and you're using these contrast paints, which are so thin, as far as they don't leave a ton of color, you'll do better. So I'm going to try to do, I think I'll do some dark hair on him. Let him dry. It is good to have lots of stuff together. I did the other one so dark. I kind of want to have some other guys this dark, that dark too. I don't know if we have any lady Votan Warriors in here. It was one of the things. Goobertown Hobbies did a funny video where he went over the all the female characters in the main army boxes that you with every release, and he went through everything up, I think, until probably not the latest one, but recent. And the only one that ever had maybe most likely had a female character was the Dark Eldar in the 3rd edition. And I mean, I painted those. Hey, look, that's looking kind of dark. That's cool. I painted those like the witches and stuff like that. I really love those. I have them somewhere. Hey, let's not forget his nose. I don't tend to go too crazy on these faces because they are considerably smaller than some of the stuff. Now, not as tiny as D&D faces can be. What was the other thing I did? It's a tiny face on that one too, but not that teeny, tiny. But I was painting a D&D mini for someone, and they were really dinky. I like this Power Fist. I was trying to like take it easy on the orange a little bit. Have not decided on the shoes, the boots or whatever. As I said, I painted these orange because I'm like, well, these are armor, even though they look like, you know, they got toes, the toes that the other things have and all that, but they're not the same. I don't know. The rationalization, but here's the deal. Do what you want to do and do it as quick as you can. Then you're going to be satisfied that you have it all done. Again, this is the Express Paint Starship Gray. It's kind of blue. I think I will use that color to finish the two or three weapons I did not paint before we left. There's this pistol. There's a little bit of a pistol poking out of there. This guy's got a gun in his holster and in his hand here. It's like a revolver. This one here is like a rocket launcher of some sort. A lot of yelling dwarves on these, or Votan, as we say. Is this drying? No, it's not. It's a little thick. I wonder if that contrast medium is fouled up. I don't think I left it open while we were gone, but We did get a lot of games. Nikki and I were not as involved this year as we were last year to collect games at Spiel. We had a lot more meetings scheduled. I thought it wasn't, they just kept piling up as we were going too. Like before I left, I had some room on Friday. Not much on Thursday, but it filled up pretty quickly. It was good though. We were talking about what we, you know, some of the stuff about like what we might do on game night, just because we don't really know all the stuff that's coming out. We played a cool game called Mycelia. There was one on front page of BGG that is not the same game. This one's from Ravensburger, and so we did get that game, bought that one, and so there's a few that we grabbed. As I said, we did get the crime macro crime city stuff. I don't know if I'll buy more of them. I mean, we have 4, and I'm not sure. I kind of wanted to reach out and see if we could possibly get the all 4 together on one, so that we could maybe do something on the stream, because we just can't. It's so much stuff. Got something on his beard there. This guy kind of looks ragged. I'm going to assume that's not hair. Again, paint whatever you want. Don't worry about it. Obviously try to pick out the kinds of things that feel like they need to be picked out. I like the faces to look a little bit distinctive. You know, it's hard, particularly the small. And I'm using a lighter version of this paint, although a few of these have gone on pretty dark right off the bat. So, might as well do these though. But yeah, see how dark he is. He's great. Oops, you can't see that. My head's in the way. I think this guy looked cool though. I really do like the orange and the. This is Aethermatic Blue and this Fire Giant Orange. I think that the colors are slightly different between, because this is a 2.0 and the one I'm pretty certain the lady loaned me was 1.0, because I did not see the 2.0 on the bottle. But they're supposed to be similar. I don't feel that's 100% correct, but it's close enough. And here's the reality, it's different suits of armor. There's, you know, maybe different ages to that armor. So I wouldn't sweat it. And as I said, I painted some orange underneath on one of these. Could be this one here. I don't know though. Maybe. I don't feel it was that one though. Run out of space. I need to get back to these Tyranids, the Termagants. Kind of looks like the guy's face I just painted. Let's take a peek. Certainly could be the same one. See, there's where it might not be so great that they're digitally making these. Although reality is you can't see this stuff. It's so tiny. That really does look like the same face. Oof. But yeah, if you can see these connection points, man, it's very small. I was a little bummed I broke it off. So this guy's a bunch of leather, which I'm going to do a snakebite leather. Might not be the best choice, but we'll see. Is that snakebite leather? It sure is. No, I said I was gonna work on these Termagants. Okie dokie, let's wait on that though. Let's do some of the stuff on these. No, I didn't do the carapace on these guns. What are they called again? Flesh borers, let's get it right. So, again, I probably used Basilicanum Gray. I don't know what, you know, it's personal preference. Everybody has different taste on things, and let's pull these guys out for now. I think I got most of the skin done, and I'll probably do another layer on a couple of them, make them look darker. Boy, I don't remember that pink. I think it was Volupus. Does look like I've used it. Wow, I have not used this bottle, but it has leaked. Wow. Yeah, I don't know, man. These bottles. It was not Volupus pink because it's not sealed. I think it might have been this one, Familiar Pink, which is one of the other speed paints I have. I was actually, so I bought a Volupus pink bottle. Both of them are sealed. By accident, I bought a second bottle. And I thought it was one I didn't have. Wow, look at that. So this is definitely, I think I used this with Candace. I had just got it at a store. Up north of us here, we don't have a lot of, most of the stores do not have the speed paints around us. It's mostly GW stuff. So, which is fine. I mostly only need the GW ones. Although I haven't bought that many. We went to that store and I was trying to support them. I want them to succeed. It's not very far from us. I just was sad that I got the wrong stuff. Because I will probably go years before. Really, is this the same? Nope, not that one. I think so, it's just not dry, so yeah. We're gonna go with it. This video auto cut over as I'm painting. Awesome, too fitting. Look great. Great look, Votan. Thank you, Brant. Hey, Scott. I really like the painting. I may end up painting on streams a little more often, just when I'm doing it for fun. I won't schedule those probably. I really want to try to do a little bit more painting because I'm really kind of falling behind, and I would like to get through some of this stuff. I mean, we reorganized the paint area here, and yipes, it's so much stuff.
Yep.
That I will never get all the way through. I mean, if I painted all the time and didn't buy anything, I'd probably be okay. These are cool minis though. These are kind of like I was painting some month or so back with Candace, doing some Nemesis miniatures from her stuff that she just acquired. She had some that were painted already. She bought the stuff from different folks. And so these new ones are from like Mars or something like that. And so she was doing them differently, and they kind of inspired this one, although the purple is what they're doing a lot of Termagants stuff with in the stuff that they have. But I like that. I like the purple's pretty cool. I miss those whatever little spots on the back of the tail here. This color is bright. Pretty certain this was the one I used. I don't know that GW has an equivalent. I should try I think I have two pink. Well, no, I think I have three kind of. Well, I got Magos Purple, which is kind of a pink, Volupus Pink, and Doomfire Magenta, which is awesome. And that may be pretty strong like this one. It seems like it could be. I thought the Doomfire was the only pink I had, and that's why I bought that Volupus, and I was very disappointed. I think Volupus was probably in the first. Is that right, Volupus? Volupus Pink. It was probably in the first batch of stuff I bought. Because I bought a lot of them. Some people were complaining about some of the colors when, there was reviews. So I avoided them. I sort of want to get some of those colors though. Okay, one more of these. Let me make sure I got everything on that as far as the pinks go. Yep. Those tongues are them. That guy's different too. That's neat. Or that thing, who knows what it is. They may not be. I know that they consume all the organic material on planets. And basically they're just trying to stop them. That was back in the day. I don't think I might have a little bit of Tyranid stuff, maybe in my collection, but I have to really look. I have not gone through. I have boxes of stuff that I have not. Part of the thing was I was always just, I'm driven by the minis. I really love them. And so I would purchase stuff that just looked cool. Although I really am happy that they're not using metals for the most part anymore. I don't think they do it at all. Because those were harder to work with. It was hard. It's tough enough assembling things in these, so the Votan. These are not truly hard to paint or to assemble, but this arm, I believe this guy's arms and the gun were all separate. So, I had to glue them together before putting it on the mini. So I got it approximated the size, glued everything, and then held it in place till it dried, and then glued the arms to the torso, and it was just a tremendous amount of effort. It reminds me of some of the Space Marine stuff that I have done. I know there are much, much more complicated minis out there, very big ones that are crazy. But wow, these were hard, and you get some, hilariously, if you look at mine, like the weapons are in front of their face. Maybe, yeah, like this guy here. Although he's maybe looking down the barrel here, so maybe not. But I was just kind of annoyed, like, it felt like they're getting in their face every time. Like, would they do that? I mean, if they're sighting things. What was the other one that was like that? I guess maybe I'm just, well, maybe this one here. Oops, you can't see it. Whatever, it's not a big deal, right? You just kind of want them to look cool from the on the table, and these will look pretty neat. I do love this dark orange though. Wow, it's really cool. Now you can mix the colors. You know, they do have Gryph-hound orange. This might be a good one. Actually, it kind of looks similar. I feel like they all sort of borrow from the GW ones. This one might be good. I should try it on some stuff and see. I forgot about the Gryph-hound orange. I think that was the other orange from the beginning. And I didn't know about it or something. Maybe Scott had it, and I'm like, what's that one? And I bought it, but I haven't used it much. So there you go. I don't think they had that, Sebastian had that paint either, but it would have been cool because then I wouldn't have struggled so much. Because I did not have, I wanted to try to finish them before I left, would have been great, but I also didn't just want to be, they do have a young one, so it wasn't like we were going to sightsee too much or anything like that. No more metal, and they are slowly getting rid of the Finecast sculpts, which were a pain. Yeah, I think I assembled one Finecast miniature and have one that I did not assemble, but I know they're notoriously not good. Thanks for that, Brent. The metal was also just heavy. Although, you know, I mean, I've got full, like I have a Dark Elf army from the beginning. Not from the beginning, but like Warhammer 6th edition, maybe 7th. I can't remember. They were painted. They were just sculpted by Chris Fitzpatrick and another guy that's really talented, mostly. And a lot of metal. I know this because in 2001, when I bought that army at a store in Missouri, I brought it home. This is just before, you know, couple months before 9/11, maybe not even that many months, but I went through security and they're like, what is all this? All these pointy things. And that was, I believe, entirely metal. It has to be. But plastic was a little not great at the beginning. I mean, the Dark Eldar army that came in the 3rd edition boxes, a lot of, in the box, I think everything is plastic at that time. But, you know, then they had a lot of other types of units that were air units and stuff like that, that were metal. And they were a little, you know, you drop them and oh boy, limbs would be falling off. And I can be clumsy. That looks cool. Okay, let's do some of the black, or Basilicon Gray as it probably is. I need to order some smaller brushes. I need kind of the range from 00, double aught to 2s in good brushes. And I don't, you know, not ridiculously expensive because I just don't believe in spending too much on them. And I have some expensive brushes. Yipes. Saw Meeple University had a how to play for this today that they posted. I don't know if they posted it today. I think they did. About Space Marine, the board game. I want to watch it and see exactly what it is. Which is exciting. I don't know if Terrant is the 40K player or... Can't imagine that it's... But what do I know? Stella. I want to see if they painted them. That'd be awesome. That is a little bit much liquid on there. I did not get those connections as being pink. I'm pretty sure I was looking at the pictures. Now, that's one reason why I say if you're really getting started out, just go by what you see on the illustrations and the pictures, because you'll get going sooner and you won't agonize over the best color scheme. You know what I mean? It's not, you want them to look nice, but you know, they've got professionals making those choices. You can go with that for now. And then once you feel comfortable, you can go crazy and do more. I mean, I like thinking about the color schemes, says the guy who did the orange and blue. I had been inspired by the orange. It was orange and black, which is totally fine, but I was like, yeah, I don't know that I did not want to. I knew I wanted it to be blue. I think the blue I was first trying to do, which he didn't have. I can't remember what it, oh, I know what it is. It's a green, a Callian green. I wonder what that would look like. This is the one, it's blue. It says green, but it's a blue. It's dark. I often mix it down a little bit. But that's also one of my favorite colors. I really love the Aethermatic blue, but I do love that other one too. Don't make that pink. But I'm actually looking forward to trying to play one of the newer games. I have not played 40K in a while, probably since 7th edition. I don't think I bought, maybe not even 7th. I don't know, it's been a while because 7, 8, 9 came out. Is that right? Maybe it wasn't 6 or something, but I feel like there's maybe a 2-year gap between them or something like that. I could be wrong. Leviathan came out this year. Which is cool, you know, that one makes it so that it is Space Marines and the Tyranids in the main box, right? So I think that's already sold. I saw it in stores, but I think it's sold out online. They generally don't do multiple runs of that stuff. Well, they might do multiple runs, but they don't keep doing them. You know what? There's a little black talony thing on this gun. I got it on that one. Oh, there's a talony thing on that too, so I'm missing some stuff here. I think I did not use this gray, but it'll be fine. Off camera. It's good to have a lot of stuff going though, because you can move through them all, you know, and while you're waiting for things to dry. Now, this paint dries generally pretty quickly. I still don't want to paint over it until I'm certain that I am ready to do it, because you know it does take a little bit of time to dry, but not too much. Yeah. Getting it all over the place. But you know what? These are kind of gross. Hey, I still didn't get all the pink on these guys. Let's go back to that. So obsessed with the black, or the Basilicanum gray. The one thing I will miss very much in Germany is their bread. They really like hearty breads. And pretzel breads. Man, I love pretzel bread stuff, and so they have a lot of that. Lervit. I mean, these are going to look great. That's the thing about the Tyranids. Now, you probably don't put as much effort into... I'm putting a little bit more in here than I probably should on these units. You put in the real effort on the big, you know, HQ minis. Because... Ooh, those eyes should be black, probably. Let me look what I did on the one. No painted eyes. No painted eyes. So I haven't done it yet. But I want their eyes to be black. So we'll just use this one. See how it goes. It is fun when we can use the painted minis on the show. I had a really good time painting the minis for Flamecraft. There wasn't too many of them, which is good. But I loved them. Very happy that they got us a set of we bought the game, but they're based out here. And they... one of the fellas from the company brought over the minis for me to paint, and I was really happy because I really think they're cute. And they turned out well. And if you saw those streams, they painted fast. I was done with 2 of them in a day, you know, less than... I was almost done with them in one stream, you know, with me talking and stuff and getting distracted. Boy, I don't feel like this is glued down very well either. Oh well. I mean, these are push fit. You shouldn't have to glue them at all. Maybe that's the problem. Oh, he's not. I can glue him in or whatever. Just not fully pushed on. Again, I kind of wasn't sure what I'm doing with these bases. I really wanted to buy, like, they had some crazy bright tufts at several of the booths at Spiel, and I really wanted to buy some, but when it came down to it on Sunday, we didn't have as much time as we wanted, and we were already dreading, although those things weigh nothing, just dreading any more purchases or acquisitions because, yipes, too much stuff. I think we were worse than we were last year. Although I probably did 3 bags last year as well. We always bring the duffel bag and end up putting our dirty clothes into that. Plus some games that can handle being in there. Cool. They're cool. They're not exactly the same. Hey, David, how you doing? Thanks for saying hi. Nice meeting you at Essen. Hey, Tommy K, thanks for coming and saying hello. How was the convention for you guys? It was good. We had a good time. It was, as I was saying, a little busy. Did not get to look at as much as we'd hoped. I actually never even got by the, I mean, we had to have gotten close to it. The Dice Tower booth in Hall 3, and I wanted to go visit that. We ran into Tom and Jason a couple times. But, you know, I really wanted to stop by, but we just ended up being much more busy than I had hoped. Way more busy. And I tried to leave myself a day to, you know, try to meet with folks, but also just to go around and talk with folks we hadn't had a chance to talk to, or, you know, to arrange a meeting in advance. I still, as I said, I was setting up stuff during the event as well, and people had to delay at meetings and stuff like that. So I think Thursday ended up being a little, no, it was Friday. Friday afternoon turned out to be okay, but oh, it was work. You were busy today? We are busy. We have construction going on, a little bit of construction. And it's, you know, not knowing when they're going to get here and stuff like that. And then trying to have phone calls with really loud, oh, I have to call somebody. Dang it, should have happened yesterday. But yeah, it was a good con, really. It's a nice, I mean, you know, there's so much stuff there. I'm going to let stuff dry for a few. Where are the other glasses? Oh. There's so much stuff to see, and that's like 3 we were in, but 3 was so packed, so packed that we dreaded going back in there. We had some meetings day 1, and it started off hot in there, and wall-to-wall people, and you know, obviously it's the gamers' games, and some of the publishers had their lines, their cash points on the aisle, right on the aisle, and next to another booth that had that. And so it only made it, that was like right in the middle. I think it might have been Pegasus. I guess Pegasus was in there. I don't really remember. Their app was pretty great though. You could actually navigate where you were going, and that was awesome. Really helpful. Other than the fact that the app constantly needed to be updated. got better on Friday. Yeah, Sunday it was much easier, Tommy, but we just didn't get a chance. He found you in the tiniest of booths. Tommy, I think you found us in GameFlow's booth. That's right. I think you stopped by, maybe, when we were talking with Caroline Delian. And we were waiting for them. They were late, and that was another thing on Sunday. They wanted to meet and talk about BlackRock, and we did talk a little bit about BlackRock, but we were meant to go over to the booth, and I'm like, I got to go to another meeting, and so we had to leave because we met with Queen on Sunday as well, and that was a long meeting. So it was cool. I love it, and I love how we see so many fans from around the globe. It was phenomenal. It's fun. There's nothing better than that. Having the opportunity to talk to people was great. I wish we had a little bit more. I had a couple folks look at that. So the paint just came right out of there. It is these silicone bubble pop things are great. I would have, they were saying, oh, I didn't get to see you at Essen. I'm like, oh my gosh, we were in so many meetings. And we had more. Wow, that really came off too. I love this. It's so cool. Look at that. Wow. Pretty great. I do wish we had a little more time to do that stuff, but at the same time, we had a great time and actually, as I said, got to run into a bunch of folks that we had never met before, but we also did get to see most people that we would hope to see. Gosh, who was one that we didn't see though? We were going to try to do dinner with Dale and Brian Yu on Saturday, but we were kind of worn out. Definitely burning the candle on both ends, and that's fine. That's what you do at those cons. But yipes, it was busy too. It was exciting to see it though, as busy as it was. Now the thing was, that was one of the reasons why it's tough, is you don't really have the opportunity to see games one of the cool things was to go to the BGG booth and see the, we were at the booth, see what was exciting from publishers that people were discovering at the show. We did not have, we weren't there, and the stuff that Fairplay was doing wasn't quite the same. Took those glasses off and eat them. And I would love to have seen some of the stuff that we just could not have possibly seen. See, now the point of this palette is for this paint to get dry, and it's going off in a cloud. So one of the things they do is they slightly dampen the brush. I'm not sure. This is Artis Opus does this, and it's great. I want to know how to do their stuff. I want to practice it. I need to practice just doing it on. I need to try their method. One of the cool things about the Tyranids is you can go a little crazy and you don't have to worry too much, because the rough, I gotta say, I don't know. It does seem to be doing a job. Maybe it's better than it normally is. It's a little dark, so I'm probably gonna put a little bit of purple ink on them. I think I did something like that, or put some of the color back on it. It looks very pastel now. Okay, well this was, what paint was that? Yeah, I feel like it's still doing the same thing. But yeah, I decided to try out these dry brushes. I should have tried to get the Artis Opus ones. They seem similar to those, but there was a Kickstarter with a bunch of, might have been an Australian company, with a lot of brushes, including dry brushes, which I was very tempted to go for, but I chickened out because I don't need a bunch of brushes I don't think I'll use. And I think you could pick different levels of stuff. I should have just gone for it. Even Fallen City of the Great Machine were your favorites. That's cool. I did not. So Tommy, we did get to play. We played a couple games that not sure I can talk about, which are basic light games from Knizia, and we'll talk about them as soon as I confirm it. But we did play Sankor, half a game of that, which was the new Fabio Lopiano, and that was great. Hey, look at this. This bottle's not closed either. Wow, this is just bad. And that's my problem. I mean, I think I opened this for the first time when I painted this stuff. So I'm not doing a good job on that. It was great. Sankor is not available yet. Comes out in January from Osprey. I'm definitely wanting to try that one. Doing this off camera. We played a half game of something else too, and I'm having a hard time remembering what it was. Oh, Mycelia. We really like that one. That's from Ravensburger. We also played Quicksand, which is from Horrible Guild, and that was fun. Kind of, it's similar to what we played recently, which was Kites. But we liked that one. We played some other games. So we went to the SDJ dinner, which is certainly a treat if you can do. You have to be invited to that one, and we have been lucky enough to go a few years. And what's great about that evening is the publishers bring a bunch of their new games over, and you get the opportunity to try them out. And that was massive. We just don't. At Essen, we don't really have the opportunity to play a lot. We have some friends that, particularly on Saturday, went around and played a bunch of the games that they were, they basically, actually I think they did some of that on Friday too. Basically Thursday you're busy trying to get the games that you know that you want before they're sold out or whatever the little allotment. We were trying to get Team, what is it, Sky Team, which, we should have played it at Gen Con. That looks cool. It looks better. But they were sold out. They only had a certain amount available each day, which was really a bummer. And we had a meeting with, I think, the main portion of that, and they just, they said we didn't have enough. And everybody wants it, so, which is great. We'll get a chance to play it. But what else do we play? I really like Mycelia. Mycelia is a deck building game that's kind of like very quick. Well, at least in what we were playing. We did get about halfway into it. We just had to go to our hotel room. We were late. I think Eric stayed very late. He was like, I'm going to leave by 10:30, and I guess he was there another couple hours. Nikki just didn't want to walk. We had walked to the hotel last year, and she was not into that this year, so we left. And it's funny because you're going before the train stop, but there was another train half an hour later. We looked it up, and of course that schedule isn't necessarily normal for Essen, right? However, they close the trains down, so we could have stayed another half an hour, which is fine. But it was great. It was a great event as usual, and seeing all the people from around the globe is really awesome. These look pretty cool. Now I need to figure, I should have bought some of that tufts of grass stuff, man. Get some alien. Now, they wouldn't be on their own planet, but still, some of these fluorescent colors would be really awesome. That one's been glued. Don't yank him out. That one has not been glued. Again, you shouldn't really have to. That's been glued. So I need to get through a lot of these. I think in the 10 units maybe in the introductory set. Let's look and see if I have the cover here. It tells me. Should tell me. There's 20 in the Space Marine, the board game. $10 plus a swarm or whatever. $30 to 60 minutes per session. Woof. I have a little bit of a sore throat. I mean, that is what my friend got. But I don't feel weird. I don't feel, I mean, I was worn out the other day. And I thought maybe I was getting COVID, and I tested negative, and then I tested again today and negative. So I really, good thing, I mean, you know, Nikki can take my mom to the airport. Let's see about the red here. This might be the purple. The Magos purple or the Voluspa pink. Let's just see. There's also a burgundy here. I mean, I really think, oh wow, this is a different color. Volupus pink. Voluspa, I said that. So this one, I don't think either of these have been opened, but this one looks like it's been opened. Volupus pink. And we're going to try this one as the, I think I've seen on one of the GW things they use that pink as the, for the red seals on the Space Marine here. Some of the paints take more time to integrate the color, the pigments. This one here is mixed up. I should have painted his hair black. Sebastian was, he was saying he was going to organize his paints, his bench like me, because, but you know, he is a very fast painter, and he is really talented. And so I don't know that he should change the way he paints and organize himself, but because he is great. But anyway, so he bought a Vortex mixer. He's like, you showed me that in 2017 before everybody was getting them. I said, well, some people were buying the old stuff from a, you know, from like labs, because they're really, you know, they're meant to do shake test tubes and stuff. Although one of the reasons why they use them, the smaller ones, which this one is a small one here, is for nails, nail polish. And can you imagine? I mean, that's probably that job. You're painting and shaking bottles all day long. But Sebastian, like, he has a whole set of lamps that he took to the paint day, which was really awesome. He had bought them a long time ago, so he had like 10 of them that cost €4 a piece or something like that. It's interesting how shiny his flesh looks. So I used this contrast medium. I wonder, it's got to be thick. I should probably open the other bottle and start using it and mixing the two, because it probably getting dried out might have done something to it. It is bad, you know, these are the way that, wow. Siri, what is going on? Yeah, I need to turn that off on this machine. That's weird. But the fan went off at the same time. I thought, hey, the fan's back on. Boy, that's weird. Maybe it turned off so it could hear me clearly. That is very weird. Oops, you can't see it. Those look pretty good. The wax seals look, purity seals maybe a little bit more on this edge here. Although it kind of should be lighter since it's outside of the wax impression, you know? Anyway. As I said, I've not done many Marines, Space Marines, and I really don't have a ton of interest in Ultramarines, which I could have painted this someplace, something else, but he is an Ultramarine, and the Ultramarines are the big armies for the Marines for the... It's 7:35. Probably should end it pretty soon. Thanks for the follow, Talkful Director ATK. I'm just kind of wrapping up on the some of the Space Marine board game minis I have. I had done the bulk of these Termagants, but I sort of finished them today. I need to do a few more things. I need to work on the bases. And then I've got the Captain or Lieutenant. I'm never going to remember his name. This is bad. Lieutenant Titus. Boy, I need to remember that. Yeah, his flesh is, oops, you can't see it, is very shiny. It has got to be the contrast medium. That is a bummer. You know, it's not that terribly expensive. I should just buy another. I have another bottle that's been opened. But I should, you know, I did the same thing here. Look at this, is kind of shiny too. It looks like caramel on here. Actually, before I quit, I would like to paint a little bit of, I don't have a lot of standard acrylics anymore. They've all just gotten beaten up. But I do have, that's Reichland Flesh Shade. Hey, there's some brown. May not be dark enough though for the script. I mean, I can make it dark. So let's do that. Oof. Let's see if this will shake up. But this was in another kit from years ago. I've got a bunch of little tiny bottles of these with no labels. You had to like look at the, I got rid of the, I swear I thought it was Orcs. And I feel like I bought it at Target. I don't know if I really believe that is the case, but I had to write the names on the side just to know. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of squiggly writings on the scrolls. It's not deep enough though, for sure. So, well, let me look at my Space Marine. My Terminator from Space Hulk. It's not quite dark enough. Not that you have to do that. I'm just, I want the contrast. So that means I probably need to put a little bit of a dark color in it. Oops, it's not in the shot here. It doesn't really matter. So I'm mixing a little bit of contrast paint with the brown. So basically, you know, I just try to get it I mean, I can't even, at the time that I painted that, it's been 13, 14 years since I painted that Space Marine. I kind of gotten better at my line control and things like that. Yeah, I don't think this is right. This color's not good. Do I wonder if I have another, let's do this little small one here. Not very squiggly. It looks like it's going to be okay. You know, remember, they'll dry a little darker. Oh my gosh, you should have seen the terrain Sebastian painted for his Slaanesh. Ah, that's just too splotchy. He was working on a Slaanesh army. And he bought like these skulls at a toy. You know, it's Halloween time, even though Halloween's not real popular in Germany. Trying to make it. Wow, that's terrible. He bought these skulls that were just some decorations, and Annie thought they looked terrible. And then he painted them up, and he just has the vision. He can see really, really well what he wants. And it's just amazing. They look so good. Actually, I can probably show you here. I'll do this last one here and call it a day here. He's so good and fast. It was crazy. He was teasing me. He was like, because he was home on Saturday, painted these are not squiggly. Let me, because you want them to look like they're inscriptions or whatever, you know. Whatever. He's like, I assembled the paint racks. I built and painted the terrain. I assembled 2 armies. I'm like, come on. He had not assembled 2 armies. They did a better job squiggly here on the previous. Oh man, this is just messy. It's the paint, and I should not be doing it until it's thin enough. Okay, let me show you the pictures. I'll find them real quick. And they just looked amazing. They did look kind of silly in incomplete form, but the end result was so fantastic. Come on, go horizontal. There we go. So these were like white decoration skulls that he's got like eyes in the trees and some old, 16-year-old terrain. He put some skulls in the ground here and then put these steps. Airbrushed this bright color. I mean, this is just, he did them so quickly. This was like some terrain he got at Crisis, which was an event in Belgium, I believe, that they stopped doing. Just, Mod Podged it and plastered it all together. But yeah, he's just so good. They're terrain, right? They're just gonna be, but they look great. I love those steps on that, where they kind of look like horns. Let's see, where's that at, right? Well, this one here. These skulls look great. He's so good, and just, he's certain, which you need to develop. You need to feel comfortable knowing what you want. But where's the skulls? Thought there was a better. Oh, here you go. So these were just some laser cut MDF steps that he put in, then and embedded the skull into it, and made them like these horns, antlers, or ram horns or whatever. But they look so good, really, really fantastic. Yeah, that one was a spam. Get back to bed. Okay, Tommy K, take care. Everybody, have a great one. Let me cut back to the. Did it do it? I'm not in that window. There we go. I'm gonna wrap it up for the day. As I said, I might stream some other painting just for funsies. This weekend, not Saturday, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. We definitely have some good stuff going on for game night. We did play Horrified Greek Gods on the stream once, and we filmed it. I don't know if that'll be next week's episode, but it will be soon. We want that to be a Halloween one. We were thinking about streaming today games, because it's October and we want to do all the spooky stuff we have, but it was not a good day today ultimately, and it wasn't really me, it was me as well. Just I had so much stuff going on. Anyway, hopefully I'll be back on for sure next Tuesday streaming, probably. We will be streaming. It might be mini painting, which is hopefully the plan. I had to rejigger because Derek was going to be unavailable. He's going to be at an event, I think, gosh darn, I don't remember. He might be going to a Blood on the Clock Tower event, which I think that's this month, which is exciting. I've never even considered doing that. I just don't have the time, but that should be fun. And hopefully I will continue with these. So the goal is I'm going to try to have these minis painted, and then we will we'll film something right away and put it out. I've never done any 40K Warhammer stuff on the show, which will be kind of exciting. And so yeah, supposedly the introductory set is the way to go to get started on it, and that's what we're going to do, show you that kind of thing. And it will be really me starting again, because as I said, I haven't done it for ages, and I would love to spend a little bit more time playing that. I mean, I played Warhammer Underworlds a few times in the last few years, and I love it, but it's, you know, it's happening. It's not completely it's not going away anytime soon. I think that's great, because, you know, fantasy stuff isn't as popular as the 40K stuff, but I'm happy that they haven't buried it all. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Let's see if we can raid somebody. I don't know why I have the raid going on the other machine here. Goodness gracious, I guess I could maybe manage it. Let's go to the creator dashboard though. Again, stuff I don't really use very often. Let us see. I think the Brothers Murph are streaming. Stream manager is what I want. But they're probably wrapping it up. Channels you follow. There's the Bromers. I think they're ending soon though. Let's go to Wapelius. I like going to him. He is a fantastic, fantastic painter. Literally one of the most amazing painters I've ever seen. He works very quickly. He uses oils on his minis, and he just goes from gray to completed mini in just a couple hours, and they look phenomenal. He one of the times recently we raided, he was doing Shatterpoint. What are they called? You know, the Inquisitors with double lightsabers and doing the OSL lighting. It's amazing. So anyway, say hello for us if you want to join in on the raid. If you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, unfortunately I can't. We wish we could raid on there, but go check out what he does. He's so talented, so talented. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Bye, everybody. Well, I say bye, but we're not quite ready to go. Aye. Cool. Take care, everybody. Bye, YouTubers.